You cry when someone raises their voice. You cry when someone is kind to you. You cry at weddings, reunions, voice notes, movie trailers, compliments, good news, bad news, and sometimes the moment someone asks, "Are you okay?" And then you do the extra annoying part. You apologize for it. Here's what I want you to consider. It's not that you're too much. It's that your system hits capacity faster than you think. The lie you've been told is simple. You're too sensitive. You need thicker skin. Why do you take everything personally? And because that explanation is so socially convenient, you start treating your tears like a personality defect you need to hide. So you clamp down harder. You swallow. You hold your breath. You tense your jaw. But the more you try to control it, the more your eyes burn. That's not weakness. That's physics. Here's the reframe. Crying isn't your character. Crying is an output. It's what happens when your nervous system decides we're at the edge of what we can carry right now, not because you're fragile. Therefore, the real question isn't, what's wrong with you? The real question is, what is your system predicting in that moment, and what is it trying to do for you? Because most of the time, your tears are doing one of three jobs. They're downshifting your arousal, they're signaling something socially, or they're leaking pressure you've been holding inside your body. And here's the part you miss. You can cry from pain, but you can also cry from relief. Let's make this concrete without turning it into inspirational fluff. Your nervous system is a prediction machine. All day it tracks safety using cues, tone of voice, facial expression, pacing, context, memory, how tired you are, how much you've already handled. But it doesn't wait for your logic to finish a sentence. It runs first. So when the load gets high, your body looks for a pressure release route. Sometimes that's anger. Sometimes it's shutting down. Sometimes it's tears. And tears aren't just sad. Crying can show up when emotions get big enough that your system needs a physical shift. Researchers who study crying emphasize that it's not reliably cathartic in the instant, but it is deeply tied to regulation, social context, and what happens after the episode. Now, because you chose the crying at everything, including good stuff version, we need to talk about one particular trigger: relief. Relief is not a small emotion. Relief is what happens when the threat prediction finally turns off. That moment after the exam when you pass. That message where someone says, "I'm proud of you." That hug where you realize you're not in trouble. Therefore, your body releases what it was holding, and your face leaks first. Quick scene. You're in your kitchen, phone in your hand. You've been tense all week, barely sleeping, living on coffee, and "I'm fine." A friend sends a voice note. "I know you've been carrying a lot. I'm here. No fixing, just here." Your throat tightens. Your eyes sting. Your shoulders drop like your body just got permission. You whisper, "Stop, don't make me cry." That's not drama. That's your nervous system finally exhaling. This is where it flips. People think crying means the emotion is too big. A lot of the time, crying means the control effort was too big. Let's map the pattern in plain terms, and I'm going to separate it clearly. What you feel. One tiny thing happens and you're suddenly watery-eyed. Compliment, kindness, a meaningful song. Someone says your name gently. What it means. Your system wasn't reacting to the tiny thing. It was reacting to the release after strain, or to the meaning. I'm safe. I'm seen. I'm not alone. I can stop bracing. That's why good moments can hit the hardest. What you feel. You cry more when you're tired, hungry, overstimulated, or after a long day of being on. What it means. Your stress budget is already low. Your arousal is already high. The threshold is closer than usual. So the same comment that you'd handle fine on a rested day becomes a floodgate on a depleted day. What you feel. You cry the moment you try not to cry. What it means. Suppression adds load. It's effort. It's tension. It's hold the lid down. In emotion regulation research, suppression is consistently linked with higher physiological strain and worse social outcomes compared to strategies like reappraisal. Translation: forcing it down often makes the internal pressure higher. That's the trap. Now we talk about the part that's awkward, but important. Because if crying only had downsides, you'd stop. So what's the hidden payoff? Sometimes, crying downshifts your arousal. Not magically, not always, but it can. Sometimes it changes the social temperature. People soften. Conflict pauses. Someone checks in. Sometimes it gives you a legitimate exit from overload without having to justify it with a perfect speech. Therefore, your brain learns this behavior ends the unbearable moment. That's reinforcement, not manipulation, just learning. And it gets stronger if, after crying, you receive comfort, protection, reassurance, or even just a break in pressure. This is also why crying shows up most when the trigger has a social edge: being evaluated, misunderstood, corrected, rejected, cornered. In stress research, social evaluative threat is one of the most reliable ways to spike the body's stress response. You're not overreacting. You're reacting to something your nervous system treats as status and safety. Now, the cost. Not the dramatic, life-ruining cost. The quiet cost. You start pre-apologizing for your own face. You avoid conversations you actually need to have because you don't want to make it a thing. You hold back honesty, not because you're dishonest, but because you're trying to stay dry. You start monitoring yourself constantly. And self-monitoring is exhausting. Another quick scene. You're sitting across from someone you care about. You want to say something simple. That hurt. They tilt their head and say, "Why are you doing this right now?" Your chest tightens. Your eyes go hot. Your brain screams, "Don't cry. Don't give them ammunition." You smile to look stable. Your jaw locks, and you say, "Never mind." Therefore, the relationship loses accuracy. Not because you're weak, because your body is trying to protect you from social fallout. And over time, that protection can quietly damage self-trust. If I can't even talk without crying, maybe I shouldn't talk. That's how a nervous system pattern turns into an identity story, and you start calling it who I am. It's not. Now the part you actually want. What works instead? Not fix yourself, not stop crying forever, just reduce unnecessary tears by lowering load, naming cues, and choosing better regulation strategies. I'm going to separate this the same way. What you feel, tears coming fast, especially in good moments or meaningful moments. What it means. Your system is discharging tension or switching states. What to do instead? Give your body a different exit route before it has to use your eyes. Here are practical switches that don't require a new personality. 1. Name the state, not the story. Instead of "I'm pathetic," try "My system is overloaded." One sentence can change the whole loop. 2. Drop the suppression. Choose a buy time move. You don't have to clamp down. You can pause on purpose. Try these replacement phrases word for word because they sound adult and real. Give me 10 seconds. My body is reacting faster than my brain. I'm okay. I'm just loaded. Keep going, just slower. This matters to me, so my eyes are doing a thing. Ignore it. I can talk, but I need the volume and pace to come down. Let me reset for a moment so I can say this clearly. Shot. No therapy voice, no drama. 3. Use reappraisal when you can, not in the middle of the wave. Reappraisal is basically change the meaning you're assigning, but you can't do it while your throat is tight and your eyes are burning. So do it earlier, before the call, before the conversation, before the meeting. Ask, What else could this mean besides danger? 4. Treat sleep and overstimulation like multipliers, not side notes. If you're crying at everything, check the boring stuff: sleep debt, constant noise, too much screen time, too many conversations without recovery. Not because you're fragile, because thresholds are real. And here's the part people hate to admit. Sometimes the solution is not be tougher. Sometimes the solution is stop living like you're invincible. 2 quick self-questions. When you cry, what's usually underneath it? Is it sadness? Or is it relief, overload, or social threat? Second, do your tears happen more when you're depleted? After long days, low sleep, too much caffeine, too much people? If yes, that's not a personality diagnosis. That's a system pattern. What's your most annoying, "I cried for a good reason, but it looked ridiculous" moment? Was it a compliment, a kind message, a song, someone saying your name, a moment of relief? Drop one example. I read them. If you cry easily, you're not broken. You're readable. Now, if you're someone who cries easily, you might also be someone who does the other pattern. When pressure rises, you don't cry. You go blank. You lose words. You can't think. You just freeze. Search my next video is, "You go blank when people get mad." Here's why. Because that shutdown is the same prediction system, just a different output. If this episode hit too close to home, comment with your good tears story and subscribe if you want the next one. No fixing, just clearer patterns. Because your tears aren't your character, they're your system.